Who doesn't love a good old antique machine? In this video, we're going to cruise from the 1930s through the 1960s and review some of the best pieces of iron released during the golden times of machinery engineering and innovations. But before we get started, let's take a minute to talk about something that's way too overlooked in my opinion. Something that I think needs to be highlighted here, simply out of respect. The dangers of being a farmer. When we picture farms, we see red barns, silos, and peaceful pastures, but the reality is far less idyllic. In fact, even today, farming remains one of the most dangerous occupations, with statistics to prove it. Listen to this. Farming is one of the deadliest jobs in the United States, twice as lethal as law enforcement and 5 times riskier than firefighting. It ranks as the 6th most dangerous occupation, ahead of even power line workers and steel workers. According to the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, between 350 and 400 farmers and agricultural workers die each year in the United States from work-related injuries, based on recent data. With risks ranging from tractor rollovers and grain silo falls to electrocutions and exposure to harmful bacteria and viruses, farming was and is still in 2024 one of the most overlooked professions when it comes to daily on-the-job dangers. As the Great Depression eased, farmers were eager for advanced technology and began buying tractors in droves. A great opportunity for the Oliver Corporation, which introduced its groundbreaking 70 model in 1935. Featuring a 6-cylinder engine running on high-octane gasoline, the now legendary Oliver 70 tractor quickly established the brand as a serious contender in the world of farm machinery, moving away from the stodgy Hart-Parr designs. While not as revolutionary as a Farmall or Fordson, the Model 70 set a new benchmark by blending sleek automotive design with agricultural functionality, establishing a standard that would influence tractor design for the next 25 years. Offered with an optional electric starter and an optional 6-speed double-neutral transmission on later models, the Oliver 70 was replaced in 1948 by the 77, another piece of art part of Oliver's glorious past. Inventor of the world's first wheel loader in 1939, company Hough, out of Libertyville, Illinois, is still remembered today for manufacturing one of the most emblematic machines from the past century, the fantastic payloader. First designed for farm use, payloaders took the market by storm in the 1940s, and by 1950, the brand was offering a full line of loaders when Michigan was still 4 years away from releasing its first production unit, and Caterpillar a full decade away. In 1952, Hough was sold to International Harvester for $7.8 million. In '59, the famous H-Series was introduced to market, including this beautiful H60, recently spotted by yours truly in Virginia. Payloaders kept doing well until the beginning of the 80s when IH sold most of its construction equipment assets to Dresser, which later sold them to Komatsu, and Komatsu subsequently sold them to Huta Stalowa Wola, a company owned by the government of Poland. Released in 1939 with the Model M, the Farmall H faced a slow start, initially overshadowed by its larger counterpart. For many small farmers struggling through economic hardship, mechanical horsepower was still seen as too costly. But as the world entered the 40s, the late bloomers started to realize it would be hard to continue farming with horses or mules when a Model H could be purchased for $962, including rubber tires. Offered with a wealth of options such as electric lights, PTO, starter, or hydraulic liftall to add comfort on the farm, the fantastic Farmall Model H quickly went from a potential market flop to International's greatest success ever. By the time the Farmall H was discontinued in 1953, nearly 400,000 units of this legendary tractor had rolled off the line at the Rock Island factory, with its price more than doubling since its debut 14 years earlier. Introduced in 1948 and designed to replace the Model B released 9 years earlier, the Farmall C was engineered with one goal in mind, making a small tractor larger, and it worked pretty well for International. Featuring a new operator platform giving farmers a view along both sides of the power plant, the Farmall C came with the same 113 cubic inch engine as its predecessor, as well as the same 4-speed transmission. Looking much bigger than the B thanks to larger rear tires and an operating platform sitting higher, the 21 horsepower Farmall C could be purchased for $1,500 when it came out, the same as $20,000 today. The Farmall C was replaced by the legendary Super C in 1951 after a total of 80,000 units rolled off the lines at the Rock Island factory, except for the 1950-only demonstrator version, assembled in Louisville, Kentucky. Released in 1948, the Allis-Chalmers WD was the successor of the highly popular WC model, which remained in production for 10 years, and the WD represented a significant advancement over its predecessor. Main improvements included power-adjustable rear-wheel thread, as well as a live PTO and an increased engine speed to 1,400 RPM to give a power boost. The tractor had a weight of 3,400 pounds. Rated at approximately 30 horsepower, similar to the WC, the Allis-Chalmers WD was offered in both gasoline and tractor fuel configurations, as tractor fuel was seen as an innovative alternative to kerosene or gasoline at the time. In 1953, Allis-Chalmers stopped producing the WD to replace it with something that would become another gigantic market hit, the famous WD-45. A total of 146,000 units of the WD were produced over 5 years. Originally launched as the International 400, the short-lived tractor was renamed as the W-400 in June of 1955 in order to align its designation with the W-Series McCormick tractors it was intended to replace. Quite a beast back in the day, the International Harvester W-400 is a special piece of iron in the company's history, as the tractor marked the end of the McCormick Deering branding, part of IH's effort to streamline its product lines and marketing. Rated at 52 horsepower, the International W-400 was available with 3 power plant options: gasoline, LP gas, and diesel, gasoline still being the most popular choice among farmers back in the mid-1950s. Selling for $3,400 new, the equivalent of $40,000 today, the W-400 was replaced in 1956 by the W-450 after a total of less than 3,200 units were sold, making it a rare piece today. Massey-Ferguson released the 98 model in 1960, a standard tread tractor which turned out to be built by American farm equipment manufacturer Oliver, hence the similarities with a machine that you may have heard of before, the 990. Only produced for 2 years, the MF98, built by Minneapolis Moline at the plant in Minnesota, was sold for $8,200 at the time, the equivalent of $86,000 in today's standards. The Massey-98 was powered by a 213 cubic inch 3-cylinder Detroit diesel that could do 61 horsepower on the drawbar and an impressive 85 horsepower on the PTO, a pure beast back in the day. Designed extra beefy for maximum performance and durability, the 98 was equipped with a 6-speed transmission. It's been reported that only about 500 of these tractors were ever made, making it a machine very, very hard to come by. Released in 1965, the beautiful John Deere 350 crawler tractor was designed as a highly compact and versatile machine engineered specifically for light to medium-duty tasks in agriculture, construction, and landscaping. The John Deere 350 could be turned into a perfect little bulldozer once paired with an in-house 72 or 90-inch blade, or could become an absolute beast of a loader once fitted with the 3/4-yard front-end attachment. Competing with machines like the International Harvester TD5 and Allis-Chalmers HD3, the John Deere 350 crawler was powered by a 42-horsepower 3-cylinder engine available in both gasoline and diesel options. In 1965, purchasing a brand new John Deere 350 would set you back around $5,500 US. Highly successful on the market, the little crawler tractor was upgraded to the B version in 1970.